Important message. Preventing obesity is not just about losing weight. It's about saving your health, your energy, and even your life. Obesity in the United States is not only common, it's rising fast, and more than 42% of adults now live with it. Certain vitamins can play a powerful role in helping your body fight fat storage, reduce cravings, and support metabolism. When it comes to preventing obesity, most people immediately think of dieting, counting calories, or extreme exercise routines, especially in the United States where quick-fix health trends dominate. But what's dangerously overlooked is that obesity is also deeply connected to nutritional deficiencies. Your body is biologically wired to protect you from starvation and stress, and if it's not getting the nutrients it desperately needs, it will hold on to fat, increase your hunger hormones, and sabotage your weight goals. This is not just a lifestyle issue. It's a biochemical problem. People in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia are constantly told to eat less and move more, but that advice often fails when the body is starving at the cellular level. The truth is, without key vitamins, your body thinks it's in danger, even if you're eating plenty of food. That's why understanding the top vitamins that prevent obesity is absolutely critical, not just for weight loss, but for long-term metabolic health and inflammation control. The first one is vitamin D, and this cannot be emphasized enough. In the United States, nearly 35% of adults are deficient in it. But among obese individuals, that number jumps significantly. This is not a coincidence. Vitamin D is fat-soluble and gets trapped in fat tissue, making it less available in the bloodstream where it's needed. It plays a massive role in insulin sensitivity, inflammation control, and even the regulation of fat cells. Researchers in Canada and the UK have found that low levels of vitamin D are associated with increased belly fat. Some studies suggest it even influences the genes involved in fat burning versus fat storage. And what makes this even more serious is that deficiency in vitamin D can increase the production of parathyroid hormone, which indirectly signals the body to store more fat. In the United States, most people don't get enough sun exposure, and even when they do, their bodies might not efficiently convert UV rays into usable vitamin D due to sunscreen use, age, skin color, or liver function. This deficiency silently drives inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. Supplementing with D3, especially when paired with K2, could make a significant difference in preventing fat accumulation, particularly visceral fat, which is the dangerous fat around internal organs. This is one of the most underused strategies in addressing obesity at its root cause. Vitamin B12 is next. And if you're tired all the time, craving sugar, or experiencing mood swings, this vitamin might be your missing link. B12 is essential for the conversion of carbohydrates into glucose, which your body uses for energy. Without it, your metabolism slows, your cravings spike, and your ability to burn fat is compromised. And here's something that's rarely talked about. People on metformin, a common medication for type 2 diabetes and prediabetes in the United States, often become deficient in B12 without even knowing it. Bariatric surgery patients, especially in the United Kingdom and United States, are also at high risk. B12 supports your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, which are responsible for turning food into energy. When your mitochondria are sluggish, your body stores more calories as fat rather than using them for energy. Deficiency can also disrupt thyroid function, which slows down your metabolic rate and leads to further weight gain. A typical sign of low B12 is brain fog or low motivation to move, which makes staying active harder and weight gain easier. Vitamin C is often overlooked in the obesity discussion, but it's deeply connected to the way your body processes fat. First, it's critical for the production of carnitine, a molecule that helps transport fatty acids into the mitochondria where they can be burned for energy. Without enough vitamin C, your body literally can't burn fat efficiently. One study in the United States showed that people with lower levels of vitamin C oxidized 25% less fat during exercise compared to those with adequate levels. That means you could be working out, walking, or doing cardio and still not accessing your stored fat if your vitamin C levels are low. This is a nightmare scenario for people trying hard to lose weight but seeing no results. Additionally, vitamin C lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that increases fat storage, especially in the abdominal area. In today's high-stress culture across the United States and Canada, cortisol overload is a massive driver of obesity, and supporting the adrenals with vitamin C can help reverse that hormonal damage. Citrus fruits, bell peppers, and leafy greens are great sources, but in many cases, especially during periods of stress, supplementation is necessary. Vitamin B6 plays a powerful role in balancing hormones and neurotransmitters that control hunger and fullness. B6 is necessary for converting the amino acid tryptophan into serotonin, the feel-good chemical that suppresses appetite and reduces emotional eating. In the United Kingdom and Australia, where ultra-processed snack foods are heavily marketed, emotional eating is a serious issue tied to mental health and food addiction. Low serotonin levels lead to sugar cravings, binge eating, and fat gain. But that's not all. B6 also helps with the breakdown of glycogen stored in the liver, which is essential for stable blood sugar levels. Stable blood sugar means less insulin release, and less insulin means less fat storage. Americans with insulin resistance, especially those struggling with PCOS or prediabetes, benefit greatly from optimal B6 levels. There's even research suggesting that B6 deficiency can increase estrogen dominance, another factor that leads to fat gain in women, especially after age 35. Vitamin A is not usually associated with weight, but it has a direct influence on your thyroid and leptin function. Leptin is the hormone that signals satiety. It tells your brain to stop eating. But in people with obesity, leptin signaling is often broken. The body produces more and more leptin, but the brain doesn't listen. That's called leptin resistance. Vitamin A is required to produce active thyroid hormone, T3, and also supports leptin sensitivity. In a study involving obese women in the United States, vitamin A supplementation significantly reduced body fat percentage and improved metabolic parameters. Many people assume they're getting enough from carrots and other vegetables, but the real usable form of vitamin A is retinol, found in animal sources like liver, eggs, and full-fat dairy. People in Canada and the United Kingdom are often encouraged to go low-fat, which can leave them deficient in fat-soluble vitamins like A. And when your thyroid is under-functioning, everything slows down. Metabolism, digestion, fat burning. You might be doing all the right things and still gaining weight. That's how dangerous this deficiency can be. Vitamin B3, also known as niacin, is another powerful but underestimated nutrient when it comes to fat metabolism. B3 supports the function of coenzymes like NAD and NADP, which are essential for energy production and DNA repair. But in terms of weight, niacin plays a role in lipolysis, the breakdown of fat from your fat cells. When B3 levels are low, the body's ability to mobilize fat for energy drops significantly. People in the United States often consume too many refined carbs and processed foods, which can deplete niacin over time, especially in those with metabolic syndrome. Interestingly, high-dose niacin has been studied for its ability to improve blood lipid profiles, especially triglycerides and LDL, which are commonly elevated in obese patients. But even at lower doses, getting optimal B3 can enhance mitochondrial function, reduce oxidative stress, and support better insulin sensitivity. Vitamin E, particularly the tocotrienol form, is emerging as a major player in obesity prevention. While most people think of vitamin E only for skin or cardiovascular health, it also has anti-inflammatory properties that are crucial for metabolic health. Inflammation is one of the core mechanisms driving obesity. Fat tissue isn't just passive storage. It's hormonally active and inflamed in obese individuals. Vitamin E, especially in its full-spectrum form, not just alpha-tocopherol, helps reduce this inflammation. In a double-blind study from the United States, tocotrienols significantly improved insulin resistance and reduced liver fat in obese participants. This is particularly important because non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, is exploding across the US, Canada, and Australia, and is now seen even in children. A healthy liver is essential for fat burning, detoxification, and hormone regulation, and vitamin E plays a direct role in protecting liver cells from oxidative stress. Vitamin K2 supports weight control indirectly but powerfully by keeping calcium out of your arteries and putting it into your bones where it belongs. Why is this relevant to fat? Because calcium buildup in arteries increases vascular inflammation, and systemic inflammation worsens insulin resistance. Additionally, K2 supports mitochondrial efficiency, meaning it helps your body burn fat more cleanly for energy. People in the United States tend to be deficient in K2 due to a lack of fermented foods in the diet. This deficiency is connected to heart disease, osteoporosis, and yes, weight gain. K2 also works hand in hand with vitamin D to control fat storage, and the combination of D3 and K2 is one of the most potent anti-obesity vitamin strategies available right now. Folate, or vitamin B9, is a methylation nutrient critical for detoxification and hormonal balance. It supports liver function, reduces homocysteine levels, a marker for inflammation, and helps regulate estrogen, especially in women. Processed food-heavy diets in the United States and Australia often provide synthetic folic acid, which is not the same as natural folate and may not be absorbed well by people with MTHFR gene variants, which are common in North America. This means that even with fortified cereals or bread, a significant percentage of people are not getting the folate they need. Low folate has been linked to fat gain, insulin resistance, and poor detox capacity, all of which are major players in obesity. Vitamin B1, or thiamine, is the final but absolutely essential vitamin in this list. Thiamine is crucial for carbohydrate metabolism. Without it, the body cannot efficiently convert glucose into ATP, the energy currency of your cells. This results in chronic fatigue, sugar cravings, and mitochondrial dysfunction. In a study from Canada, patients with obesity and fatigue had significantly lower levels of thiamine, despite eating what they thought was a balanced diet. When supplemented with high-dose B1, their energy increased, their cravings dropped, and their insulin sensitivity improved. It also supports nerve function, which can reduce neuropathic pain that sometimes prevents obese individuals from exercising comfortably. This next set of vitamin-related factors goes even deeper into how these nutrients regulate the very core of your body's metabolic engine, your mitochondria, hormones, inflammation levels, and appetite control mechanisms. In the United States, where more than 73% of adults are overweight or obese, the conversation has mostly revolved around behavior change, like eating less or moving more. But these approaches often fail to recognize how broken the internal systems are in someone living with chronic inflammation and nutrient deficiencies. That's why obesity is not just about willpower, it's about cellular signaling. The vitamins discussed earlier play direct roles in fat metabolism, but there are also cofactors, synergies, and hormonal loops that must be supported in order for any fat-burning or weight loss process to be sustainable. Let's dig deeper into how vitamin B complex synergy impacts obesity in a very measurable way. You already saw how individual B vitamins like B12, B6, and B3 matter, but in reality, these vitamins don't work in isolation. B complex as a whole is essential for proper mitochondrial function and energy metabolism. Inside every single one of your cells are mitochondria, which act like metabolic engines that burn calories. The B vitamins are the spark plugs. They help mitochondria convert carbohydrates, fats, and proteins into usable energy. Without them, Your body switches into energy conservation mode, storing rather than burning calories. Many individuals across Canada and the United Kingdom are unknowingly deficient in multiple B vitamins due to high levels of stress, poor dietary choices, alcohol intake, or even medications like birth control pills or antacids, which deplete them faster. And when your energy levels crash, what do you crave? Sugar, processed carbs, caffeine. These cravings are not random. They are your body begging for energy in the quickest form possible. But giving it sugar instead of B vitamins just creates a roller coaster of insulin spikes and crashes, leading to even more fat storage. There's also the problem of low stomach acid, which is common among overweight individuals. You need strong stomach acid to extract B12, B6, folate, and even some minerals from your food. But in the United States, people are often prescribed proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, like omeprazole for acid reflux, which lower stomach acid even more and worsen vitamin absorption. That means even if you're eating healthy, your body might not be absorbing the nutrients that keep fat metabolism running properly. Obesity then becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. Low vitamins, low energy, poor digestion, cravings, fat gain, then more inflammation. Let's talk about how fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K work together to regulate hormones. These vitamins not only need dietary fat to be absorbed, but they also affect how your fat cells behave. When these vitamins are deficient, your body experiences increased oxidative stress, poor insulin signaling, and chronic inflammation, all of which push fat cells into storage mode. In the United States and Australia, low-fat diets were heavily promoted for decades, and as a result, generations of people became deficient in these essential vitamins. For example, vitamin A regulates gene expression related to fat cell growth, and when it's deficient, the body tends to produce more fat cells. Vitamin D, as already explained, supports insulin sensitivity, while vitamin E protects against lipid peroxidation, a process where stored fat becomes toxic to the body. Vitamin K2 ensures proper calcium distribution and supports mitochondrial respiration. These vitamins need to be present together for optimal function. If one is missing, the others often can't work properly. Now, moving beyond the classic vitamins, we also need to talk about vitamin-like compounds that play critical roles in fat metabolism. One of the most important ones is choline, which is often grouped with B-complex vitamins. Choline is essential for liver function and fat transport. Without it, fat gets trapped in the liver, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which now affects over 25% of adults in the United States and is rising fast in Canada and Australia. Choline helps package and export fat out of the liver so it can be used for energy. Eggs are one of the richest sources of choline, yet many Americans still avoid eggs due to outdated cholesterol fears. This has led to widespread deficiency and impaired fat metabolism. Choline also supports acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that affects motivation and focus, mental energy that's critical for sticking to a healthy lifestyle. Next, there's inositol, another B vitamin-like compound, which is essential for insulin signaling and fat metabolism. It's especially beneficial in women with PCOS, a condition that often leads to insulin resistance, weight gain, and infertility. In the United States, 1 in 10 women has PCOS, and many struggle to lose weight even with intense efforts. Inositol works almost like a second messenger inside the cell, helping insulin do its job more effectively. Supplementation with myo-inositol has been shown to significantly improve metabolic markers, reduce cravings, and support fat loss, especially in insulin-resistant individuals. People in the UK and Canada are increasingly using inositol as a frontline support for metabolic disorders, especially when prescription medications have failed or caused side effects. There is also a critical interplay between these vitamins and your gut microbiome, which science is only beginning to understand fully. The bacteria in your gut actually produce several B vitamins, including biotin, folate, and B12. But when the microbiome is damaged, due to antibiotics, stress, processed food, artificial sweeteners, or chronic inflammation, it stops producing these vitamins efficiently. The result? Nutrient deficiencies that worsen insulin resistance, increase appetite hormones like ghrelin, and impair your ability to burn fat. In the United States and United Kingdom, gut health is becoming a growing concern, especially among children and teens who consume ultra-processed food diets from an early age. The rise in juvenile obesity is not just about calories. It's about gut bacteria, vitamin production, and inflammation. Supplementing with vitamins might not be enough if the microbiome isn't addressed simultaneously. Let's also focus on biotin, known as vitamin B7, which is often advertised for hair and nails but has a far more critical role in weight regulation. Biotin is required for fatty acid synthesis and gluconeogenesis, both of which impact how your body stores and uses energy. Deficiency in biotin can cause fatigue, mood instability, and increased fat storage, especially in those who consume raw egg whites frequently or who have digestive disorders like IBS or celiac disease. In Canada and Australia, where gluten intolerance is rising, undiagnosed absorption issues can create silent deficiencies in vitamins like biotin, B12, and folate, all of which are key for fat burning and hormone balance. Without biotin, your body's enzymes involved in metabolism literally don't function. That's how foundational it is.